My concern with the movie was that there's a really strong propaganda component to the third jihad. And what I mean by this is right at the beginning, you see it, the images of the World Trade Center in ruins as we hear ominous kind of Arabic sounding music. I almost, I can't say what I would think for sure if I was Muslim, but if I were, I would find the kind of framing and the way that this movie was put together almost stereotyping and just kind of really making a lot of generalizations and comments that aren't really supported by data. I mean, when you see an image like that with the ominous sounding Arabic music and so on and so forth, what comes to mind? How do you react?
Well, for me, it's actually had an opposite reaction, and maybe because I was focusing on the disclaimer in the beginning that said it was talking about the extremism in Islam only and not about the mainstream Muslim community. And the reason I say that is my point earlier where I think, depending on where people are in the political spectrum affects, how they take 9/11. 9/11 happened, and there were people behind it that definitely have an extremist religious movement behind them, and they seek to propagate a set of values that I don't think any American or Westerner or even the average Muslim in a Muslim country wants. So it's not propaganda if it's happening. It's unattractive. It's not very palatable to me. I don't like to be a Muslim and reference to those images and quotes and texts, but it's a reality that's happening. I just came back from Pakistan, and I did some research interviewing different kinds of people, and it's the same thing. You've got extremist Muslims that are funded by, foreign organizations or maybe domestically, and they're coming into mosques with guns, and they're, asking people what kind of Muslim they are and advocating, turning those mosques rather into Wahhabi mosques or extremist mosques. And this is not, it's not propaganda if it's happening. It only takes one mosque among 1,000 even to be doing it to make it true. Propaganda is if you're saying this is all Islam is and this is all Muslims are. That's completely false.
In the last couple minutes we have with Supna Zaidi speaking about The Third Jihad, the documentary film at thethirdjihad.com, do you think Barack Obama in any way shares any kind of these, do you think he's in any way complicit with the radical Islam vision for America?
That's a hard one to say because, again, it's like, how do we define radical Islam? For me, it's simply political Islam. So fine.
However,
I do think there are individuals and organizations that definitely get invited to the Obama administration's events that I wish they weren't invited to, but does that make Obama himself part of that faction? Absolutely not.
Well,
I just
let me ask you this.
He had more advisors that had Muslim backgrounds that gave him a variety of Islamic opinions, not just one.
Is it the same type of, when you say people that are invited to events, is it more or less connected to the Obama administration than, for example, when George W. Bush would visit and kiss the hands of some of the people in charge in Saudi Arabia involved with oil?
I think Bush just pandered. I don't think he understood one way or the other what the issues were. So
you see it as different?
I do think it is different because I do think Obama is more educated on these issues, but at the same time, how he's being educated does concern me a little bit. And again, this is just my opinion. There are people like Ingrid Mattson, who's the president of an Islamic organization, and she represented Muslims at the Presidential Interfaith Breakfast. And she's somebody that considers Wahhabism a reform movement. And one article she wrote alluded to Osama being a misguided freedom fighter. I have a problem with that. I don't mean to put words in her mouth. It's how I simply read her work. And I don't know if I believe that Wahhabism from Saudi Arabia is what Islam is or what Islam should be in the future.
Understood. Well, we've been speaking with Supna Zaidi. The film is The Third Jihad, and the website is thethirdjihad.com. I wish we had more time, but thank you so much for calling in today.
No, thank you for having me.
Interesting production, Lewis. And as I said, I think that there is a significant propaganda component there. She says if it's happening, it's not propaganda. And there is a disclaimer that says this film only relates to those who fall under the category of radical Islam. I don't know how I would react to that.
Well,
I think the propaganda component is strong regardless.
Well, I haven't seen it. I guess I'd have to see it and draw my own conclusions. But to deny that radical Islam is a huge threat to not only us but the whole world and that it's spreading rapidly, that that does need to be addressed.
So you're on the side of Supna Zaidi here.
To some extent.
Well, I think we can all find something to agree with in what she says, but I think a lot of the I wish we had more time to delve into it, but I think she was getting into the Barack Obama is in bed with some of these radical Muslims in not so many words. Sadly, we didn't have more time to go into that in detail.